Man, a great win by our guys. We kind of had to have it. We knew that. You've heard me in here challenging our guards that, man, they got to really step it up and play with more reckless abandon. I told our team I want to get off 30 to 43s tonight. I think we got off 29 in the game, or 28. And, that's what busted the game open when Ruben O'Reilly got loose in the first half. We are what we are. We're a shooting team. We got to stay with it, even through the ups and downs of it. And even through the ups and downs of a season, and it was good to see us break out of that, and we're making shots. We can probably beat about anybody. Defense was good. I had a gap in that first half. I thought we really leaned on them at a time, and our guys got loose, and that was probably the separator in the game. Wish we had closed the game better, which we didn't close it great. They made some tough shots, had some tough calls, and then we just could have done things a little bit better there. But overall, I got to be really happy with our guys because I thought they won their matchups in a lot of those spots, and that was good to see. And we're sitting here, and I'll say this: we got I mentioned this to our team. I respect so much the tradition, the players that have come before here at A&M, and I've got to know some of the players off last year's team, and they were talking about. We talked to them about just it was a great year. They brought back a lot of guys, and how tough this league is. And I think last year, what a great team. They went through this league play and went 11-7 in the league. And that was a group of guys that had been here a while. That is a hard thing to do in this league. It's a hard thing to do. And we didn't want any fall off with this group, even though they're all new guys. And so, we've been getting texts from these guys all year long supporting us. And I said the same deal. Let's, if we could get these last two and we can go to LSU and we come away with 11 SEC wins in this tough league, that would be a heck of an accomplishment. And that would kind of keep carrying on what some of these teams have done before we got here to kind of set the table for this group. Even though they're all new, set the table for this group. So we want to keep it going and get to that LSU game and play really well and close the season off right.
But did you see any, before the game or earlier, any indications that would have told you that Ruben was going to break out of it the way he did today?
I had a guy in town, a buddy of mine who coaches a lot of international basketball. He coached the Redeem team. He was an assistant coach on that team. He was in town. He knows Ruben, was talking to him. And it's funny, he's actually staying at my house here the past couple of days. And he told me Ruben's about to go off in this game. He told me that. He called it, and he said, I'm just telling you, I had a little talk with him. And I was telling you, I feel that he's about to go off. I said, all right, Tony, we'll see. And I actually told him if he goes off, you can do the media. So I might as well bring him in here and let him do the media. But other than that, I don't know what night it's going to be for a shooter to go off. He came out there, he passed up on some threes, and I pulled him aside. I said, if you don't get out there and get 4 or 5 threes off in this half, you're not going back in the game again, the rest of the game. And I thought that freed him up a little bit to not worry about making or missing it, but I got to get some threes off. And that was a separator in the game.
What do you think defensively on that 27-2 run was really working for you guys?
Just stay with what we do. Like what we do in totality, it generates offense and gets the game going, trying to lean on those guys as much as we can. We used a deep bench, and I just thought there was a part there where we had some of our guys in there that were pretty fresh, and they had some foul trouble there. They couldn't sub as much. And they had some looks, but they just came up off in those spots, and that led to transition opportunities for us.
What was it about tonight that this was the night to finally switch up the starting lineup, and how'd you kind of come to that 5?
Because that 5 had beat the other 5 in practice the other day, and this time of year, like it is what it is. We got to play well, but like we got to keep getting better. And so, we didn't have a great February. We've had a great season, in my opinion. But, we're going to play the players that are playing the best. And if one group's beating the other team's group, like nobody's job's safe here, right? We know that. If we win 25% of my games, I love talking to y'all. I probably won't be talking to y'all very long, right? So that's for everybody. We got enough talent out there that we can figure it out. And the next thing is I wanted some of those guards a little mad at me, honestly. I wanted them mad at me to play with a little more fire. Like they got something they got to prove. And they did it. So if I can make them mad at me more often, I'm going to keep doing it, however that is.
What did you like about how Ryland played, especially in the second half?
He played aggressive. He played like he had something to prove. He played not to, not to just be out there and stay on the floor, but be an impact in the game. Ryland has been a role player at a lot of the places he's been, Alabama, Kansas. But, we brought him here to be a real player. And he's done that a lot of times in the season. But he's got to understand that, like, he's a key guard for us. He's got to be a real player at all times. And, yeah, if he misses some shots and he gets off 12 shots, sometimes he's going to miss them. But I'd rather live with him getting off 12 shots than getting off 3. We got to do a better job of getting him open. But you could see the aggressiveness in his eye, the way he ran the floor, the way he got to the basket, and the way he was looking for a shot.
To that point, Ryland did talk about the aggression and understanding what this game meant. How do you, as a coach, kind of balance saying, hey, like, we understand this position we're in, but staying within yourself?
Well, I'd rather go down swinging, and that's why I told our guys, man, try to squeeze off 43s if we can. We didn't, but they had that mindset, and that way they're not focused on winning or losing. They're just focused on playing aggressive in the game. We got to the line 39 times in the game, which is elite. So, play aggressive, live with whatever happens after that. We actually started the game trapping a little bit more than normal, just so we could come out aggressive and really send the message. Now, they got up on us, but, I still felt we were aggressive, which was good to see.
You're talking about having the 30, 40 3-point shooters. Do you think, or 3-point shots, do you think that is what contributed into finding that second, third, fourth score through stretch that y'all kind of been missing in the last few games?
Yeah, our guards let's call it what it is. Like, our guards really played well tonight, and I thought they got the best of some of their matchups in the game when they played well. Some of these games recently, we haven't. You can't look up on the stat sheet this time of year and the other team's guards go for 50-some points and, we go for 21. You're not going to win this time of year doing that. So, it was a collective effort. Ollie played well in the game. He had 8 points, but he was plus 31 when we were on the floor. Right? He played 21 minutes and it was plus 31. He does a lot of things out there. Him and Ruben are kind of a good combination. Ollie's a defender and athlete. Ruben's a shooter and thinks the game really well. But even though he doesn't show up with all those threes, Ollie had a great game as well.
Do you feel like that win is one to get you off the bubble?
Look, I'll just say it like this. I don't like to make anyone upset or the NCAA tournament committee upset. I'm not trying to lobby. I'm not going to lobby for our team. Look, at the end of the day, you should want our team in the tournament because we're good enough. We won 20-plus games, and we have a winning record in the league, but we need to go get this next one regardless. I want to make a run in the SEC tournament. But I'm not going to lobby. I'm not going to cry about getting in or anything like that. Like, that's not what it's about here. You should want Texas A&M if they're in there in the tournament. We've done stuff on the road. Even the games we've lost against the top teams in the league have been right there a lot of times. We're an exciting team. We're a tough matchup for other teams. We're in the number 1 league in the country with a bunch of guys that came together there last second. We lost a couple games early and kind of really rolled in spite of adversity. So, we've took everything that's come our way. And if you kind of look at the totality of the season, we want to be in that deal for sure, but, we want people that want us in there. That's how I feel about it.
Jakari didn't play tonight. Just want to ask you if there was a reason for that.
Just wasn't what we went with. You got to be ready to play next game. We'll see how it goes. No disciplinary reason, nothing like that. He just sometimes you feel your gut's telling you one way on a game, sometimes another. There's a game this year that Card played 1 minute in. There's a game that Pop didn't even dress in. There's a game Josh hadn't played much, and he played a lot tonight. So it's just kind of we got to rally around that.
He had 8 steals and 18 points off of turnovers tonight. Kind of how did that success defensively translate to success on offense?
It's always good when you can get turnovers and play like we play and get up and down. You just feel better about it playing that way. Like, I'm always good at a team that coach that's going to press. I'll never not press because I can live with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to live my life, and I want our team to live their life. I'm not playing basketball and coaching basketball afraid of my own shadow. And I think basketball's a war. I think, picking the guys up 94 feet, there's a reason the floor is 94 feet, not to play at 40-something feet, right? Not to sit back inside the 3 and be scared to death of giving up a dunk or a layup. And that helps our team when we get steals, but also helps our mindset because they know we're playing to live and not playing not to die.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you
Hey,
guys.
I want to say something because it's our last home game. I really appreciate y'all's coverage, and y'all been very positive with our team. And I mean that because, like, you know, I think people had a realization of our group that everybody wants to win every game, and I'm not going to be content till we win this league and we go win a natty and we're in the Final Four. And one day we'll get to the Final Four. It's going to be something awesome to do. But while we're building this thing, it's very easy. We went through a 4-game losing streak, or we started the season off not very good, for everyone not to be positive and stay with this team. I'm not expecting everything to be whatever. I get it. It's never going to offend me. But it impacts recruiting. It impacts the morale of the fan base. And understanding what we were up against gave us a chance to go and now have a chance to go 11-7 in the league and get to the NCAA tournament. And it'd be very easy to turn when things don't go great. But, man, many of y'all have met, and I call y'all my friends. I'm not trying to influence your journalism, but it means a great deal because it helped this team stay the course and feel the love that they got to feel and keep the positive momentum going so that we can do something special and try to get to this NCAA tournament. And I won't forget it. Hopefully we're never on the bubble again. Hopefully we just ride right on through. But I'm going to remember everyone that was here when we were going through the ups and downs of it. Appreciate y'all and giggle.